All right, welcome back, everybody, to Unsolicited Conjecture, the movie gallery podcast. What did we call it last time? I can't even remember.
Welcome, one and all, to the Unsolicited Conjecture Movie Club.
That actually sounded way better. Way more enthusiasm than mine.
Oh, well, yeah, it's a movie club, I guess.
Sure, that's what we're going to call it now. So we hinted at it last time, and by hinted at it means we told you exactly what movie we were doing today. And what movie is that?
Well, also, it's Prey. We're going to do Prey.
Okay.
We're going to do 2022's Hulu's Prey.
Not Eat, Pray, Love.
Not Eat. That's a different one.
Yeah,
This
I don't know if we'll ever do that.
This is Hunt, Prey.
This was, as I mentioned
Predators.
it, after watching Alone in the Dark, a complete cinematic masterpiece.
Oh, yeah. This is night and day from that. But before we get there, I'm Josh, and that's Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm Jeremy. How's it going, folks?
And this is the Unsolicited Conjecture Movie Club, where we talk about a movie. Can you believe it?
Us. Not news.
Talking about a movie.
Surprise, surprise.
So the movie that we've chosen is a movie.
That's right. That's right. And this movie is Prey. If you haven't seen it, man, you know, I'm just going to start this off before you start talking about Prey in particular and giving us all those cool breakdown stats that you do. I'm just sad that this was not released in theaters. I would love to see this in theaters.
This should have really been in theaters.
I
and
know.
it seems like it was already tied up in agreements long before the purchase. So there's a lot of things that happened here, and I don't know most of them. So we're just going to kind of wing it. But it really should have been.
I hope the Alamo picks it up in one of its, how it does like weird movies every once in a while.
They should do some special screenings.
Yeah.
I'm sure at some point we'll definitely be able to see it on the big screen, and that's something I'm going to try to do.
Yeah, it was great. I would love it on the big screen. That was the only downfall for this movie, in my opinion, was the fact that I was watching it on my own television and not in a theater.
Because it would hold up.
Yeah,
it really would hold up on the big screen.
It had a lot of hype. Everyone was saying it was going to be good, and I was pleasantly surprised because I feel like it matched that hype. It was very, very good.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, the hype, what's it about? It's about Prey. Pray with an E.
Yeah, not like to the Lord.
Don't pray to him. He'll stab you with his wrist blades.
Well, if you pray to him, actually, he won't see you as your threat, so he probably won't stab you with
that's
the wrist
true.
blades.
Maybe he won't.
Yeah.
Because he's only in it for the sport.
That's right.
You know, the completely fair and balanced sport of hunting people
invisible.
while you're invisible.
Yeah, hunting them from afar with a laser while invisible.
All right. So, Prey 2022. This movie, 7.2 out of 10 on the IMDB score. Rotten Tomatoes, 93%.
Ooh, that's a good
still
score.
at 93%. Yeah, I remember when it's the day it dropped, it was at 100% for quite a while. I think up to 70 some reviews. Whoa.
I'm just dropping something every episode over here.
We are dropping knowledge. This movie, unlike some of the other ones, this next information we don't really know. Budget, 25 to 50 million.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
We don't know. They didn't announce it.
No stats, huh? Like Netflix, they don't have to release that stuff.
Yeah, and then also box office. How do you know? How could you possibly tell?
Yeah, because there is no box office release, which we are both obviously sad about.
Hulu subscriptions? What percentage of Hulu subscriptions do we attribute to this movie? I don't know. I'm sure they have, ways to figure out all of it, but it's kind of a shame because this was such a good movie and quite possibly the best Predator movie.
I will also agree with that.
Well, it's definitely the best Predator movie on some axes. I don't know if it's overall better than the first Predator, which invented Predators.
I would have to say Predator 2 is better than Predator.
That's not true at all.
I think so.
It isn't true.
I think so.
That's fine, but it's definitely not. It's nowhere near as good as the first
It's much
Predator.
more rewatchable.
It's goofier.
I know.
It's way goofier. It's not like
Glover's the man.
It's not good. I don't know. The first Predator is. We'll get into it. We'll talk about it a little bit. But Predators and Prey, the age-old relationship between animals.
That's true. So which one is the main character? Is it a predator or a prey?
Well, in this one, kind of both, right? That's sort of the whole
transformative.
Message. So this movie, directed by Dan Trachtenberg, who's not related to the girl from Buffy or Eurotrip.
Trachtenberg.
Was it Michelle Trachtenberg, right? They're not related.
Michelle Gellar?
Well, yeah, that's a different person, Sarah Michelle Gellar. But Michelle Trachtenberg,
I don't know who that is.
she was the little sister in Buffy, and she was in Eurotrip.
Okay.
Remember Eurotrip?
I do remember Eurotrip.
Probably doesn't hold up.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it for a long time.
I also have all I remember about that movie
That's
was
Scotty
the
Doesn't
robot
Know.
guy, right?
Isn't that Scotty Doesn't Know?
I don't
That's
know.
the song?
I think so.
I
I remember the song
the
Scotty
Matt
Doesn't
Damon.
Know, but I think that's
the Matt Damon. That's probably the best part. It's probably the only good part of that movie.
All right, so back to Prey.
Back to Prey. Directed by Dan Trachtenberg, who did 10 Cloverfield Lane for some reason. He also directed an episode of The Boys, and he's currently working on a Waterworld series.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's a big news drop.
Yeah, I don't know. Know about that.
Waterworld, the show, because the movie worked out so well.
10 Cloverfield Lane, actually, I enjoyed that movie. I thought it was pretty good.
That was the one with Brie Larson in the basement.
Yeah, and John Goodman was in it. It was supposed to be, I can't remember what its original title was, but kind of last minute they tracked on to the Cloverfield name to
they
pump
did
the
that with
popularity.
both. They did the Cloverfield movie, and then Netflix just took two different movies and then said, hey, what if these were both Cloverfield movies too?
Yeah.
Because the other one was that Cloverfield Paradox.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen that movie though.
It's weird and bad, and they just like put a Cloverfield monsters at the end. But at least they're in there. But Dan Trachtenberg directed, very well done. This movie just so well crafted. The storytelling, the look into Native American life. You can't say that everything in this is accurate or historically, but it's all done very tastefully
For sure.
and it's done respectfully, and it's probably pretty close. But it's so cool to see her, brushing her teeth with a stick and making a fish, and just I don't know,
Making a fish?
she's making a fish at one point. Yeah, the way that the movie progresses, a lot of it is non-verbal.
Yeah, that's what I like so much about this movie is they practice that age-old saying for movies is they would show and not tell, and that was important. They were showing you so much of the information, unlike Alone in the Dark that told you all the stuff you didn't need to know.
Yeah.
This movie told you very little and showed you the things you needed to know by where the character was and how they were interacting with their environment. So that was done very well, I think.
Oh yeah, it's very experiential storytelling.
Exactly.
It's really good stuff. So some really beautiful shots, really some beautiful camera work. The CG all looks great. The practical effects look great. Overall, very well put together. So like I said, produced by Hulu, starring breakout star, really, Amber Midthunder as Naru.
She did
protagonist.
awesome.
She's incredible. in this
She really is, man.
so believable. I don't have a complaint about the performance, about it all, even though it's actual Native American people speaking in English
Yeah.
in the primary dub. Like it still feels it feels so realistic. I don't know. It's very, very wonderfully done. And they also did a Comanche language dub as well. So you
That's
can
pretty
switch
cool,
it.
actually.
And I feel like if you don't speak Comanche, you could switch this. You could switch it to Comanche and watch it and still fully follow.
Oh, for
the
sure,
narrative
because
of the
there's not
story.
really that much audio and dialogue in particular in the movie, realistically speaking. Probably less than half of the movie has dialogue in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Really fucking good.
She does, man, what I really liked about her is you'll notice in a lot of other movies when they do those tight crop face shots, actors tend to do a lot of overacting in those points, but she had really good facial expressions in those moments that matched what she was going after. So
Yeah, she was
hands down.
serious and she was believable as a character. You knew right who she was.
Yep.
The whole time, and there was no issue with that. Also starring Dakota Beavers as Tabe, her brother.
Man, he did a great job.
Really
too.
great.
These are two just great people I've never seen in anything before, and just hands off. Great acting from both of them.
And then also Dane DeLagrio, some pronunciation of DeLagrio or something. Deligro. I could probably move on. He was the Predator.
Okay.
The Yautja, which, as we know now, they're called. That's what they call themselves, Yautjas.
That's what the Predators call themselves?
Yeah. Well, they don't call themselves Predators. That'd be weird.
Well, it might not be that weird.
They're just they're Yautjas.
Yautja.
So
where'd you learn that from? In this movie?
Yeah. Well, they don't say it.
Oh.
It's just from the supplemental material to this movie.
Man, the Predator looked awesome.
Looked really good. Yeah, he was technically a different subspecies of Yautja. He was called a feral predator.
I would say he looked very like, I guess you would say devolved, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, he's no armor and using just.
And the armor he did have was like bone armor.
Yeah, he had a bone mask, he had solid projectile weapons. It was good stuff. Great effects, but really good makeup, and it just he looked awesome. So yeah, that's the primary cast. Now, as we're looking at this movie, normally now at this point we talk about where we were in our lives where we first saw this.
Yeah.
Well, it was last week.
Yeah, on the couch last night.
Yeah. So we don't really need to talk about that. But what we can look at, as this is, like I said, I think possibly the best Predator movie, but it's also there's been a lot of nonsense. So the first Predator in '87 with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yep.
Classic movie.
Great movie.
Get to the chopper and what have you.
Yep.
Budget of $18 million. That's pretty low budget.
Well, for back then, it might have been a decent budget.
Well, I mean, it's not no money ever, but it's not a big budget movie even in '87. But it made $98 million off of that.
There we go. That's what I'm talking.
So
That's the kind of numbers they're looking for.
We get into Predator 2 in 1990, which they bumped up the budget to $30 million.
Okay.
And then they made $30 million.
Okay, so they broke even.
Well, or lost half of their money because of how much they put into marketing.
So is marketing not included in that cost?
No. Generally, the rule of thumb is whatever they say the budget is, you double it for marketing. And they need to make double that to break even.
Okay, I always figured marketing
always
was
true,
a part of that.
But yeah, so it didn't do well. Then we have a 14-year gap until Alien versus Predator. And that was in 2004.
Yeah, that was decent actually.
It's not great. It's a little silly in the lighting, and the Predator.
It was a fun watch though, honestly.
Well, the first Predator, he's like, it's like Jaws. You don't see him until towards the end of the movie, when it's just a bunch of predators standing up close.
It loses its effect.
Yeah, it's not quite the same. And also they were dumb and they all immediately got killed by aliens.
Yeah.
So it was kind of goofy. But that was a $70 million movie. So
that was their budget?
$70 million budget for AVP. But also, that's a movie that takes place in a pyramid under the ice in Antarctica. Yeah. It wasn't the most, exciting like visually maybe, but it was a good set. They had to build sets. They had to build a lot of stuff to do that movie. I
recently learned that opening icebreaker scene where the boat going through all the ice, that was all a miniature build, and I would have never known. It looks great.
I bet in 2004 you're still. I mean, that's still like kind of Star Wars prequel time period.
I would assume they just had footage of a random ship and they were just like, hey, can I use that? But nope, they did that all with miniatures.
Yeah, but that's a fun one. I enjoy that movie. Alien versus Predator.
It's cheesy, but it's fun to watch.
Yeah. AVP Requiem, not so much.
Yeah.
The first one, I said I almost like better than Prometheus. I think it's better. Been more fun than as an origin for aliens than Prometheus.
They're very similar. I feel like the first 30 minutes of those two movies are like almost scene for scene.
Well, the Alien versus Predator movies cannot be canon to the Alien franchise. It doesn't work. They don't line up. So they could, however, kind of be canon to the Predator universe. But also they're maybe just not canon to anything.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter. But AVP Requiem was a $40 million budget, so almost half of what the first one had, and it made $130 million. It's
Holy
disappointing.
moly.
They tried to, do more with less. It's much darker. That movie is so much darker.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell what you're looking at because it's two guys in masks bumping into each other. And then at the end of Alien versus Predator, they tease the Predalien, an alien growing out of a predator. And then when you finally see him, he's a weird predator alien looking thing with dreadlocks. So when everything
he's just a predator with a weird looking head.
A longer head and an inner mouth. So when you get to but the whole movie is like rim light, and they really tried to go minimal on the lighting, and it's so dark. It's like the Batman, like trying to see what's going on.
Yeah, that's one of those things where it's like you can't watch it on a TV during the day.
And it's like, well, is that the alien or the predator or the Predalien? I don't know what's happening. And also that movie is like angry at women. It feels like it's all about aliens like eating pregnant women's fetuses and stuff. It goes wild. I don't know. It's not a good movie. But after that, in 2010, we got two Predator movies. We got Predators.
I remember that one.
We got AVPR Requiem and Predators, and that's the Adrian Brody one. That's kind of good.
That one's the good. Yeah, it's good. It's
definitely
definitely worth watching. I don't know its rewatchability.
I put it at probably number 3 total. But that movie is fine. That was also a $40 million movie, and it made $127 million. So almost exactly what Alien vs. Predator Requiem did. Then they did The Predator, which was, what if predators had a predator and there's a bigger predator to hunt the predators, and Predator. $88 million movie.
I do remember that movie.
One. Not great. It was $88 million and it made $160. So it made less than Alien versus Predator, and it cost $20 million more dollars. This has not been a financial success as a series,
which is probably why they rebooted it completely the way they did for this one.
Yeah, it's kind of, because this ties in with with Predator 2.
Yeah,
this movie Prey. So this is in continuity, but it's better than a lot of the other.
What I meant mainly is like reboot the style.
Yeah. So it's not like Alien and then Aliens, which were like big successful movies.
Yeah.
The first one was successful, 18 million. They made 5 times their money.
Yeah, exactly.
None of the others have a ratio like that, except for probably this one. This one probably would if we had any way of knowing, which we don't.
It's killer.
So, with that context of predators and predating,
was that like predating?
Yeah, predating. Yeah. This movie, what do you think? What's it about? What's this movie about, Jeremy?
Man, this movie is about a girl who wants to be one of the hunters, and her voyage through that process, and just so happens to encounter a predator in the process.
Yeah,
it's really what it is.
Yeah, it's a bad day.
Yeah, I really like the plot of the movie because they kept it as simple as possible. Like, that's what's so good about this whole movie. Everything about it is really, like, when you look at it visually speaking, obviously these shots were very complex, took a lot of time to get the lighting perfect, but it just looks like it was done so simply. And that's what it pulls off so well, I think.
Yeah, we get an interesting look into sort of Comanche culture as well. We're right off the bat getting a sense of, Comanche gender roles, and we have here a female hunter who wants to be taken seriously and allowed to go on the hunts with the men, and there's a rite of passage that the Comanche warriors, I guess, have to go through called the Katamia. which is to hunt an animal that's hunting you. So
Yeah.
convenient,
Uh-huh.
isn't it?
Uh-huh.
It
They were originally going after, what was it, like a wolf they thought it was?
was a cat, like a lion.
Oh, yeah, lion.
A
That's what they
lion.
said, a lion. So I'm assuming like a mountain lion.
Yeah, so this female warrior named Naru wants to be a warrior, and she wants to hunt and not gather, but she's stuck gathering. So yeah, and then Predator shows up.
Yeah, well they have the really cool scene where she ties the rope on the end of her axe and she's doing the axe training.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. And
there's
we
some
haven't
good
even
stuff.
brought up the dog yet.
The
dog is a great part of the movie.
Yeah, the dog's name is Sorry. The character is Sorry, and it's an American dingo.
Yep.
That was rescued from a North Carolina dog shelter, apparently.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
For this movie.
Yep.
Trained for the movie. Incredible. Absolutely, like, best supporting actor.
For sure.
For sure. Yeah, it's a story of a girl and her dog. And she's throwing tomahawks into trees, and she's, everyone, including her brother, just underestimates her.
Yep.
And at one point, you know, they say, they ask her, like, one of the old ladies asks her, why do you want to hunt? And she just says, because you all think that I can't.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, and then there's that
Sure.
scene where she gets knocked out there trying to fight the stuff and had to get
she
brought
goes
back.
out to because one of their people gets captured by a lion, so she goes out to try to help, and then she convinces the other warriors to let her come along, and she ends up like doing some damage to that lion in a tree, and then she gets knocked unconscious.
Yep.
And then she wakes up at home, and then her brother shows up with the lion head that he killed. But as soon as I saw that, I'm like, I think she killed that lion.
Yeah, maybe
think
he
she
just
got
brought
it.
it after.
He showed up. He's like, oh, look, dead
Or
lion.
she definitely fucked it up.
She fucked it up.
Yeah, and he just maybe finished
And
it
took
off.
credit. Yeah. And that's what he admits to later
Yeah.
on in the movie. But yeah, so, I mean, Predator is an incredibly simple concept.
Yep.
In the first movie, we have, for us, what at the time was the pinnacle of military superiority, which was
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
big dudes in short sleeve shirts
And
flexing and
big
holding
guns.
giant guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Jesse Ventura and it's Carl Weathers. That's
With the first helicopters.
and what you see in that movie is you see, you know, super soldiers show up and easily handle a bunch of like what Colombian drug lords
Yeah,
or whatever they were. And then we see the power invert and we see this thing start picking off these guys who we think are, you know, the greatest warriors. This
Yeah.
movie, it takes that same sort of format, but because the protagonist is someone who's not seen as a threat by anyone in the movie, she's able to sort of weave through the whole story in a way that feels so genuine and so realistic
Yep.
that it's just really, really incredibly done.
I think the reason this movie works so well, especially in comparison to all of the most recent Predator movies, is the fact that, you know, the Predator was part of another story and not the story. And I think that's where all of these other Predator movies went so wrong. It's like, especially the AVPs, you know, like these characters have now become the main character, and the Prey completely wiped that. Prey, the whole story, even without the Predator, if you replace the Predator and just leave that as the bear, as the main enemy, it still kind of works as a great movie.
This would be a great movie without a Predator. in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, the Predator is just the cool, the extra. You know what I mean? That little bit of flair that's on the movie instead of the Predator being the whole plot line of the movie. And I think that's why this movie excelled so much in its storytelling.
It's the supernatural seasoning that gets added. It's like
Yep.
the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Yes.
It's a great movie, but it's even better because it's a ghost story
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
If it was just regular historical pirates, it would be fun, but it wouldn't be as exciting as
Correct.
And yeah, it's the same kind of thing with this. Because yeah, you already do have like alien predators in North America in 1719.
Yep.
And it's called white people. Like
Yep. And they are featured heavily.
and because they're speaking in French and the Comanche is translated into English, it gives them
Yep.
a
The foreigner.
It gives an other perspective that you probably wouldn't get if they were speaking English, So it's really, really cool choice, I think, to make them, French trappers as opposed to, the 1700s. There were a lot of people running around. We're only, 60, 50 years away from independence.
I thought it was a good choice also. I like that whole dynamic, that whole, I guess, series of scenes, for lack of a better term. But yeah, I thought the French trapper angle was pretty cool.
It was really,
And I like the way the Predator just kind of like, he just like everyone else thought she was just insignificant prey.
Well, he stepped right past her.
Yeah,
he stepped right. And granted, she had taken her special orange plant.
Yeah, that was later on in the movie. I'm talking about the scene where she got trapped with the
bear.
Yeah, no, the trap. When she got in the metal trap, and the Predator picks up the chain and like is right next to her.
And then the French guy
and he's like, "I'm out."
Yeah. But even when she has the French guy kind of on the ground at the end, and the Predator, she like just steps to the side, because she's already taken her stuff.
Yeah.
She just steps to the side and just lets him walk right up to the guy. It was great. But another cool thing, this movie's interspersed like with these little like vignette scenes where like there was one where like the ant runs up and you see the ant kind of climbing on the Predator.
Oh yeah.
He's invisible, and then the ant gets grabbed by a mouse, and then the mouse gets grabbed by a snake, and then the Predator stabs the snake and skins it. And then there's another one where
the wolf,
the rabbits, and the wolf chasing the rabbits, and then
that was actually probably that. I know we'll go into it later, but that was a choice for my least favorite scene of the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought it once again. Like I know we talked about this off mic earlier, but it's just like how much of a hunt is it if you are invisible chasing after this thing that's already chasing something else, and then punch it in the face? Like
that's the interesting thing about this, because these predators obviously. That snake's not a threat.
Yeah.
The wolf isn't a threat, but what you're seeing is every one of these predators are all like their own little naturalists. They're their own little Charles Darwins.
Yeah, collecting
going
skulls.
To plants and charting, the evolution of predator species. So they're doing experiments in a way as they're cutting apart they're cutting apart snakes and taking wolf heads and stuff. Like, it's interesting because they're studying our planet, and then because it goes from that. He first the snake, and then he takes out the dog, and then he's taking out the Comanche warriors and just fighting all those guys.
Well, doesn't he go after the bear too? And the bear kind of
that's right. There's the bear. The bear scene is, I guess, in between. Is it in between that? I forget.
They're kind of intermingled together, because the bear scene is when the bear's going after her,
and then it switches the Predator onto the French guys, onto the trappers.
Yeah, man, the Predator's pre-tech is super cool in that battle scene.
It was really cool. It's cool because there's no armor.
Yep,
his
shield,
bone mask, the shield, which is really cool. And I think the director said that was like that's an homage to God of War, because Kratos has that same shield.
Nice.
That spins out like that real quick. And obviously, you're not going to give him like a laser shield or whatever.
Yeah, man, there's a new God of War coming out, I think, right?
Yeah, the sequel to the last one. Yeah, part 2. It's going to be good stuff. But yeah, so this movie, really, really fun. I like it.
No, for sure. So we've already kind of talked about our first viewing and all that jazz. We talked about how it's different than everything else for its originality's sake. And for the Predator series, I don't necessarily want to say it's super original, but I think they kind of just went back to the basics and what they were good at. Like they just it is Predator.
Yeah, it's not original.
Yeah.
They
went back to the sauce
elements
that made them popular, that first Predator movie.
Yeah, and it's going off the right things, which is the content or the contest between alien and man.
Yeah,
exactly. It's the struggle between predator and prey, where you lose some of it when you're in the city, and when you're obviously the AVP movies are wild, but even the new ones were kind of the other two Predators. I don't know. I'm not. The Predator movies don't hold up. I feel like their bookends are really good.
Yeah, exactly. So
but
far,
they sort of decrease. as they go.
So if I had to ask you what you thought your absolute favorite scene of the movie is, I know what mine is for sure, but I would love to know what yours is.
Favorite scene is I mean, I really like shot. There's one shot that's fucking gorgeous when she's up in the tree and she's got the spear and with the lion on the other branch, and it's just framed so well, and it's so dark. But it's, it's fake night. But it looks so good. That's such a cool shot with the lion kind of creeping towards her, where they're facing off in the tree. But I love the fight where her brother dies, where they're sort of fighting like together, and he's like, coming out with the
My favorite scene
tomahawks.
is very close to that. It's where he comes at where he continually uses the same arrow on him. That part of the fight scene, where he sticks him with the arrow, comes in tight, pulls it out, sticks him with it again, and he does that like 4 times in a row.
Yeah,
that sequence of fight is, I know he's not the main character, but it is my favorite scene of the whole movie. I watched it and instantly stopped the movie and rewound it and watched it again.
Oh yeah, it's great. Well, he's not the main character, but he's the main character's hero.
Yeah, exactly.
In a sense,
exactly.
Yeah, and it was so cool to see them for that little bit of time sort of fighting together as equals, like brother and sister. We're going to take this on, and I really appreciated that. And he atoned for his sin of taking the credit of taking out the lion and stuff by dying. But it was good. Like I said, I don't have any. I don't have any real spots to like complain about.
Yeah, I agree. So when it comes to worst scene, there is not, like I said, I already said my worst scene is when the predator attacks the wolf that's running after the hare, because I don't feel like it's very predatory, because he didn't really I guess that he fought it for a second after.
He just likes him because it's a predator. It's fascinating because it's a lower form of predator.
That was my least favorite thing, just because I felt like it was very like I don't know, unfair, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, well that's not the game. That's not the sport. That's just a bonus.
I also do
the
though.
Little stuff the little stuff you dump on the skulls to melt all the soft
tissue. Dude, I love that. I love the scene where towards the end, where she's in between the 2 rocks and he's pushing the shield down at her neck, and she rips out his tooth and stabs him with it. That's a great scene too, man. That was just very good stuff. And the way the predator dies, I wasn't expecting that right there.
No.
It surprised me. So once again, a great ending to that fight scene.
And this is still not, I don't know what I would say my least favorite scene is. I don't think I really had one, because I was just along for the ride.
Yeah.
Both times I watched it, you just sort of fall into the rhythm of the movie, and you're like, all right.
For sure.
And if it lets you keep suspending your disbelief, if nothing interrupts that, then what's there to complain about? You know?
And overall, I think this was probably the best looking Predator. I would say anatomically, it doesn't have the weird, crazy little eyes like the Predators do.
Yeah, I agree completely. And I had something on this. The artist, one of the artists who worked on the movie, released a bunch of stuff, pictures and sort of stuff on his Twitter about the Predator and the design and stuff. Somewhere in my pictures.
Well, while you look for that, I really love, when we're talking about the design, I just love the fact, the bone skull, the way his armor felt more like what I would think Predator armor would actually be about, because that's what that's obviously the skull of something he killed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other thing you have to remember is there's some people saying oh, that's not what a Predator's supposed to look like. It looks weird or whatever.
I thought it looked great.
I thought it looked great too, but to be precious about the design of the original Predator, the story of the original Predator, it looked totally different. They shot a giant chunk of this movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme inside a rubber suit with this like long ass like praying mantis neck head thing wobbling around above him, and it looks ridiculous.
Really?
You can find footage of it online, but they shot a lot of the movie like this, and they're like, this does not work. The Predator looks fucking stupid. It's not scary. So they had to do like a quick during production redesign of the entire alien.
Man, good thing they did.
And they did it, and then you get the weird, like he's got the fishnet clothes and like armor, and it's cool. He's got cool weapons and stuff. But yeah, it does beg the question, like, where's the line as far as your what is this game?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Because sure, it's cool that he's using projectile weapons, but he's still got a laser tracking system and thermal, and he can turn invisible and all this other stuff that, like, clearly you're still using your technology to your advantage, even if you don't have the laser shoulder cannon on.
Yeah, you've got the laser arrow projector instead.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Dude, when she learned how to use the when she used the Predator's little wraparound slicer,
that was cool,
gig on the French dude, and then the rats were picking at his stump as he wakes up. That was a great scene. Man, so many good small scenes in this whole movie.
Oh yeah,
just things to keep you interested in the process the whole time.
But anyway, I found the thing I was talking about. Michael Vincent Art at MV_creatures. Michael Vincent, the guy who designed the Predator. This is what he had to say, along with a couple neat looking pictures of it. Genetic isolation with different environmental pressures yields a variant of Yautja, adapted to a drier climate, thinner, waxier dreads, thicker oral tissue, and scalier skin for moisture retention. Favors crushing bite for different diet. Breathes primarily through spiracles in the cask, not the two big cavities. Those are heat-sensitive pits. For the heat.
Yeah, for the thermals.
An adaptation for less jungly, less oxygenated atmosphere. Thicker brow houses heat-sensitive organs, which the mask is designed to interface with. Thinner cask loses less water. So this is like a desert adapted.
Yeah. What's a cask? Is that like the head?
Yeah, it's going to be like a bone formation. So bone has a special cultural significance to the feral subspecies. Not only their armor, but as a diet staple. Careful look at the mouth reveals molars outfitted for osteophagy. It's just neat that they
went that deep into it.
Yeah, into designing, like, it's not just, hey, let's make a different, because the first guy's
make
a
it
rubber
look
suit.
cool.
Let's make a different rubber suit because the first rubber suit looks dumb.
Yeah.
And this is like taking that rubber suit and saying, hey, what if it were a real thing?
Yeah, exactly. What would it actually look like?
What would the biological variation on a planet like this look like? You know?
And I think that shows in the overall end product. Like I said, it looks good and it looks natural in a way that the others didn't.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Really clean, really good. A couple other things I liked. The mud misdirect. There's a point where she like falls into the mud and she's using her tomahawk on a rope to try to pull herself out, and all you're thinking is like, oh, that's how she's invisible to predators now because she's in the mud. That's how you do it. Everybody knows, get muddy so they can't see you. But that's not what they did.
No, they did that little medicine
lateral.
pouch.
Yeah, they did the special orange flower, not to be confused with the blue flower that gives you visions of bats.
Oh yeah, that's the bluish purple powder.
Yeah, from the north side of the mountain.
You got to blow it in their face.
That's where you get your ninja bat.
Yeah, I like the way they integrated the whole the Native American aspect of like the medicine. They didn't go schlocky with the medicine featuring. Like there was no medicine man. There was just actual medicine for
that
actual
she used
things
in several different situations.
Yeah, exactly. She's like used it here for the cut on her foot and here for this dude's leg.
They know that it'll cool his blood and coagulate and keep him from bleeding out. Yeah, it's great that it shows that, you know,
it shows respect for the actual source material or the actual people.
The people understood a lot more about their natural environment than we do now.
Yeah,
exactly. Because there's an entire, subgenre or subsection of anthropology where, your anthropharmacology and stuff, or ethnopharmacology. It's interesting stuff. I really liked. I thought the whole thing was just very clean and believable and just it's respectful and just good. I don't know. I had so much fun with this movie. I like there's another really great shot where she's running from the bear and she swims under the water.
Yep.
And the underwater, like
that's
swimming
where the
into
predator
beaver
bear
dam.
scene happens. Yeah.
Yeah, the bear stomping in the water as she's getting into that's
really the first time you see the full silhouette of the predator, if I'm not mistaken, because his invisibility didn't go away, but they did the thing where he's like coated in blood, and that was pretty cool because it showed his whole outline, but he was still invisible.
Yeah.
And she was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, it was so good.
And like her brother brings in the line later, if it bleeds, we can kill it. Like,
that was really good. The other really good line was when they're tied up to the tree by the trappers. And she's the trap is sitting there on the ground. She's like talking about the beaver. I saw this beaver chew its own leg off.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
And she throws a rock and cuts the rope. She's like, I'm smarter than a beaver.
That was good too.
Which is funny too, because her scene partner, the guy she said that to, his name is Dakota Beavers. So when she's like, I'm smarter than a beaver.
Double entendre.
She's also, it's a dig at the actor at the same time, which is great. And I just got to say, it's been so much fun following the release of the movie on Twitter, because it's just, you keep seeing like all these people from the original Predator movie, like Jesse Ventura and who was it Bill Duke? What's his name? I'm bleed you real quiet like.
Oh, I don't know what his real name is off the top of my head.
I can't remember that guy. And I think I didn't see Arnold, but all these actors from the original movie, like tweeting about it, the new one, and congratulating Amber Midthunder and her performance. It's just been so cool. See all the, like, I think Carl Weathers said something too. It's just really cool to see her like getting all this love from previous Predator.
I'm excited to see what she does next, man.
Yeah, you I guess could continue the story with them. I don't know if
I'm not even talking about necessarily in this movie or movie chain. I'm just talking about in general.
Oh,
she could easily be
she's
the
gonna
next
end up in the
Mila
MCU.
Jovovich.
She's gonna end up in the MCU. You know it.
Yeah.
Like she's gonna get a Star War or something
for sure.
I expect to see a lot of her going forward in life.
No, most definitely. She was. I hope I see him also, Mr. Beavers.
Yeah, Dakota Beavers.
Yeah,
killing it. So yeah, that's this is as far as you go.
Yeah. So
no
I think,
more. This is it. I'm saying that to the audience because it's also a line from the movie.
Yeah,
she says it to the Predator. So hey, audience,
but that's because her brother said it to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said no. He said
this is as far as I go.
As far as I go.
Yeah.
But audience, this is as far as you go.
That's true, because we're pretty much at the end. I mean, because next subject we would tackle is like what we would change, but I think it's pretty obvious that we wouldn't change any of the actors. We wouldn't change the scenario or the story. We loved all the changes they made, as a matter of fact.
We do. Well, question.
Okay,
here's
answer,
my question.
potential.
So, as we know at the end of Predator 2, after Danny Glover kills a Predator and the other Predators come out and be like, hey, we're Predators too. Now we're not invisible anymore. But we respect you for killing our friend for some reason.
Yeah.
So here's a pirate gun. That pirate gun is the same gun that the guy gave her.
Yeah.
That she used to shoot the Predator in the back of the head.
So
at some point, the Predators have to get that gun back. Because the Predators gave it to Danny Glover.
Well, if you watch the actual end cartoon, like the end credit cartoons that was going on, the very last scene of that, it was the whole storyline, those little graphic cartoons.
Yeah.
And the very last scene of it was 3 new Predator ships coming into the atmosphere towards her campsite.
Yeah.
So at the end of the story, they're basically saying, hey, there are people coming right now. There are more Predators on the way.
Yeah. So maybe the sequel, we will get a direct sequel to this movie with Amber Midthunder fighting
that would be
more
awesome.
Predators.
I would be about it.
That would be super cool. There's lots of cool stuff. But here's the other thing, though. This worked so well. Will it work as well again with the same crew? I don't know. Because what about other parts of the world, other time periods?
Yeah.
You know? Imagine a feudal Japan. A Predator versus a a Ronin samurai.
That's
or
what
something.
someone said. I never remember this guy's name. He was in Bullet Train recently. He's in like he's always the typical samurai in every American Japanese movie.
I don't know.
Oh, I cannot remember. Oh, I gotta look it up. Just talk for a minute. I'm gonna look up
Yeah.
this guy's name.
I'm just saying, there's a lot. I mean, imagine a pirate predator movie, Viking predators. Like, there's lots of fun time periods that you could do a predator in the Old West. Other times as well are also options. I don't know. I just think that
Hiroyuki Sanada.
what was he in?
He's in all kinds of stuff. He's in he's in every movie you can imagine where there's a samurai. He was in The Last Samurai. He's a great action star.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, he's in every samurai movie that's made for America.
He was in The Wolverine. Was he the Silver Samurai?
So there you go. Like, I think making a movie with him against the Predator, I would go see it instantly.
Yeah, I'm saying there's a lot of options, and obviously going forward, because this doesn't have to be the first Predator. They never said that.
Yeah, they never once.
This is
said
the first time a Predator showed up.
Yeah, this
You
was
could
just
do
a
one-
Predator.
Yeah, and this is like still not even that long ago. You're just like, what, 1713 it said, or something, 1715, something like that.
Yeah, I like the way we moved right on in so smooth and seamlessly to our last topic matter of where we would like to see the franchise go in the future.
We did. It's almost like
We're
planned
professionals.
this whole thing.
Yeah.
There's lots of places you could go. I would love to see a sequel to this particular story, because something has to happen with that gun. They got to get it back. I don't think the Predators would just show up and like kill everybody and take it.
I wouldn't think so either.
That's not.
But
really
maybe
their-
maybe it's something she passes down generation to
Well,
generation
there's the
that we see.
goofy. Remember the end of AVP when the lady the Predator makes the mark on her, burns the mark on her face, and they, like, give her the spear or whatever.
Yeah, and like
then the
invites her to
Predators-
go up with her.
No, they just bail. They just leave her.
I thought they invited her to go up for something,
No,
and
she
she decided not to.
She's like in a tank top in Antarctica.
Yeah.
And just standing like, thanks for the spear. What do I get?
And this burn tattoo
Yeah,
mark on my face.
And the crater where everyone I came here with used to be.
Yeah.
Like, I guess technically maybe she could get back to the boat. I don't know. Maybe the boat.
She could drive that cat thing back.
Yeah. But I'm glad they didn't go that route necessarily, where maybe that'll be in a sequel or something. I don't know. Or maybe Amber Midthunder will be able to train a new crop of predator hunter people, and the predators will attack, the Virginia colony or something. And I don't know.
Maybe. I see it more like I think the gun will probably come and play later. Like, I think it'll be a relic she passes down. And
It
the
could
next
be.
time they introduce this will be later on in civilization, where like I don't know, where there's more
Imagine
America.
Imagine a predator, if there was a predator running around during like Mel Gibson's The Patriot.
Exactly.
Like that,
That's what I'm thinking around that
would
same
be-
timeline.
Well, yeah, you're looking at like 60 years
Yeah.
down the road. From
Exactly.
there.
So a few generations, she passes it down twice, and whoever that is,
It'd be like probably her granddaughter or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, but anyway, it's fun. Great movie. Lots of potential going
high
forward.
recommend.
Absolutely. If you haven't seen a Predator, start with this one.
For sure.
Start with this one, then watch the first one, and then, I don't know.
Rewatch
take a
this
nap.
one.
Yeah. You can watch the others if you're a completist. First AVP is fun. Second one is specifically not fun. And then the Predators is okay, and the Predator is not that okay.
Yeah, so that's it. That's all we got.
That's it.
Give them the spiel. Where should they write us?
Hey, what do you think? You can hit us up on our social media, which you could probably find if you look for it.
Yeah, it's not too far off from the name.
Or, I don't know, maybe send us a good old-fashioned modern technological email at unsolicitedconjecture@gmail.com. Tell us what you think about prey, and who was really the prey, and who was really the predator. It was the predator. It
Yeah.
was the predator.
She was the prey.
She was the prey
Obviously.
most of the time. She killed him, but she won.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the war paint.
It
Predator
looked,
blood,
I liked it.
Predator blood war
The
paint.
Predator, man, we've dug in enough.
It's good stuff.
All right, y'all.
All right, everybody.
Peace
Let us
out.
know what you think. Tune in next week when guess what we're going to do?
What is that?
We haven't figured it out yet. But tune
You-
in and figure it out when we do.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.